gave me this stone a couple of weeks ago. As a cutter, it's sort of part of our responsibility to look at the stone and try to figure out what shape is really going to maximize it. Shall we look at it?
I'm not sure. I may have a heart attack.
Hey guys, welcome back. We've got Justin Prim back on the show. You guys have met him before, and we have something really exciting for you. Our friend Bill gave Justin a piece of Moldavite to facet. So Justin, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So I've got my whole traveling faceting setup here. Bill has given me a Moldavite from his personal collection, and I thought, what can I do with this? So it's only halfway done right now, but I'll give you the sneak peek, and I think you might recognize my design.
Oh, okay. I do recognize that.
I wanted to do something geometric, so I've been kind of just playing with like how the design's gonna work, making some notes.
He is gonna love that. Can you go through what some of the machines are?
This is the faceting machine. It's got a grinding disc on it, but most of the actual stuff's happening here. So I can do all these adjustments, so I can change my angle. So that's changing the angle that the facet gets cut at. And then if I flip it around and I push this thing down and I turn this, there's a gear on here that basically allows me to rotate the stone. So you can see as I'm turning it, the stone's going around. So all this is doing is letting me go to a specific spot and be able to go back to it by remembering what number I'm on.
Got it.
So that's two controls. The third control is this thing here going up and down. So this thing sits on here. This goes up and down. So the lower I go, basically the bigger the facet will grind. So there's just those three things. Everything else is just sort of accessories. And I've got a loop, which you know about. Normally for gemology, you're using the loop probably to look at inclusions or whatever. I'm looking only at the facet meet points, making sure that all the facets are coming in correctly.
Okay, so let's talk about the original rough. So we know Moldavite has a lot of gaseous inclusions.
It did. The rough was probably kind of as big as my thumb, and it was covered in the typical Moldavite texture, you know, deep holes and grooves. So for me, the first thing that I have to do before I put it in the machine and do all this is actually just take it on the wheel, and by hand I need to take all that stuff out. There actually still is one little bubble, and maybe I'll keep that one if it stays. You see in the table there's that little white dot. Because he's a Moldavite lover, maybe that's
he might love it.
Yeah, it's like sort of a telltale sign, like, okay, that's Moldavite. Sometimes I think as a gemologist, you appreciate inclusions because you see the signature of that stone. You know, it's personal fingerprint.
Yeah, which is obviously important with Moldavite being a glass. What makes Moldavite different from some other gems?
I think it's slightly softer than a lot of stones, which ultimately for me it makes it easier. It cuts faster, it polishes easier. Since it's a glass, the one thing that does create some design challenges that has a kind of a low RI. Moldavite is probably one of the lower RI stones that you find. Low RI for me means I need to make the angles deeper than I would for another type of stone. So when I was doing the original shaping and the preforming, I wanted to make sure, okay, this is deeper than my normal stone, because I know that for any type of glass, I need deeper angles than any other material.
That makes sense. So when you were in like elementary, middle, high school, was geometry something of interest to you?
Actually, I pretty much cheated all the way through geometry, which is funny to me now looking back because I use it all the time. But the thing is, what we need to know about math to do this is it's so basic. I mean, it's almost all visual. I just need to make sure that like everything's straight and everything's aligned, and it's mostly all happening visually. I loved rocks as a kid, but I didn't love math.
Okay, that's encouraging for me to hear because I'm terrible at math.
You know, I mean, there's some science behind it. You can go as deep as you want, but you can cut a gemstone without understanding any of that stuff.
Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin started on this piece this morning. He's gonna show Bill later this afternoon. So we're gonna wrap it up so that Justin can get back to faceting this beautiful Moldavite. And we're so excited to see how it turns out.
So after a long day of cutting, the Moldavite is finally finished, and I'm sitting here with Bill, who gave me this stone a couple of weeks ago.
I had a bag of rough, and so we decided to experiment with one, and we'll see the result, and I'm very excited.
Shall we look at it?
I'm not sure. I may have a heart attack.
Wow.
All right, here we are. Let's see. Oh my goodness.
So I had a special idea. So it might look a little bit familiar if you compare it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have the 5-sided with the 5-sided inside, and then if you look through it, you can just kind of notice that there's another pentagon on the bottom. The idea was take the Moldavite, turn it into the gemstones.com logo.
Yes, there's no other gemstone that has the gemstones.com logo, I don't think. It's an original cutting here. Oh my gosh.
This was my original plan. I was looking at the logo and I was thinking, okay, it's a 5-sided star. There's an upside down pentagon inside of it, so I had to figure out the geometry of how that was going to work. That was pretty simple, but then when I flipped it to the other side, it looks a bit messy, but this is just sort of my internal thought process being expressed on paper. So I'm figuring out how am I going to put all the facets in there, what angles they're going to be, which is 60 degrees, 50 degrees, 40 degrees. I'm figuring all that stuff out. I was hoping that when you look through it, you see the pentagon, the table's a pentagon, and then inside the culet is a pentagon. So we know that we're looking at Moldavite, and we know that Moldavite has some bubbles. So you can see right on the culet facet, there's one little surface-reaching bubble that I left as a sort of a telltale sign, so that if anybody ever didn't know what they were looking at, it's very clearly a Moldavite.
But the surfaces are beautiful.
Yeah, I was able to get a really nice polish. The cool thing that I didn't notice until I actually took it off the dop, you can see all of the characteristic sort of swirl patterns inside the Moldavite.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. I love the little Chatlerite inside in the waves. You can really see when you put the loop on. Oh my gosh.
So I think as a gemologist, I think it's really cool when you can look into the stone and not only see something that's clean and beautiful, but also there is that sense of science and nature in there as well.
Have you cut Moldavite before?
I have, but not a ton, so this was kind of an interesting experience. So how long have you had this Moldavite?
I bought it about 2 years ago. We hadn't been able to get any rough, and we had tried for a number of times. The person that's the legal miner there was unable to supply us. And so finally we got some, and so I bought what the company didn't want and just put it in the safe.
I kind of had an intuition that this wasn't going to go in jewelry, this was going to go into your collection, probably on a shelf somewhere. So I thought, okay, if we can see through the stone a little bit, it will also lighten it up, because Moldavite can get dark when it's this big. It's sort of intentionally windowed in the middle.
That's amazing. The rough was round and long, and somehow you've created the exact geometry you were looking for.
I drew it on the paper because I wanted to get an idea of how it would sit in my actual machine. I didn't use any pre-made designs. It's really cut for this. It was flatter than I even anticipated it would, so pretty much the entire bottom of the stone I improvised in real time without any drawing. I just said, okay, here's what we have to do, here's what we've got, here's the critical angle of Moldavite, what can we do? And so it sort of came out like a little flower or something on the bottom.
It's amazing that what you see in your mind, that somehow you can transform into the cut stone, and just it's an amazing process of creativity. Most of the time when you look at a gemstone, do you see the shape lends itself to something creative, and you see exactly what the stone tells you, kind of what it wants to be? Or
yeah, I mean, as a cutter, it's sort of part of our responsibility to look at the stone and try to figure out what shape is really going to maximize it. Because if you would have gave me a long skinny piece, I wouldn't have cut such a square symmetrical piece. It would have wasted it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up to our experience and expertise to look at that stone and try to imagine what's in there.
Well, you did an amazing job. It's just beautiful.
Well, thank you. And now it is part of your collection.
Yes, indeed. Oh my gosh, I love Moldavite. Nobody has anything like this. This is a one of a kind. and so I really would like you guys to have an in-depth look to see inside the stone as well as the beauty outside.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on our future videos. Thanks for watching.